Yeah, hello. Before Tony continues, this is our police with 442891 and iPhone. I plead that you change into your names, okay? Thank you.
Hello, colleagues.
Yes.
Yeah, please, a quick advice. Since Doc has not shared the slides with me, I don't think it would be advisable to share this. But when he joins, he knows he has not shared the slides with me. Okay, so I will not be sharing the screen with you. My apologies. Okay.
Okay, we understand.
Hello.
Yeah, we
Tony, that's fine.
understand.
That is
Yes, sir.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but
So
no,
let's
Tony,
wait to.
Tony.
Yes. Yes, please.
Yeah, you can define it by saying that you screenshotted it, or you can have the
No,
screenshot
no,
of
no.
whatever that is teaching. Or
No, I wouldn't do that. He hasn't given me the
oh,
go ahead to do that, please.
okay.
All right. Thank you very much for your understanding.
I think this we can be using aside,
All right.
not sharing it like this.
Okay, so
That's okay.
please, hello.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, please, let's do a recap of what we did last week. We went through logistics, what logistics is. And I would like to ask who remember what we did last week about what logistics is, the definition of logistics, just a layman's understanding. Okay. Please, you can raise your hand
Okay.
and then contribute.
So logistics is the process of planning and managing how goods are moved from stored from one place to the other to
Oh,
make sure the right products get to the right person at the right time in the right condition.
hmm. Oh, that's a great one. I like the latter part of it. Yeah. Could you please uh say it again?
Okay, so logistics makes sure the right products get to the right place at the right time in the right condition.
All right. Thank you very much. Gabriella, right?
Yes, please.
All right. Thank you. Who else?
Hello, right?
Yeah, Jude. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, yes. Um, Based on what our sister said, I just want to add that the same process, but we can do it vice versa, not in one direction, right? It can go upwards too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you are getting me. Or adding more, I can say it is just the process of managing both movement and storage of goods and materials to the right destination or vice versa.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much, Jude. I
Yeah.
recall Doc mentioned this in our lecture last week about goods that's a kind of a reverse process. Okay, some items can get spoiled and have to be returned back to the manufacturer or the distributor or whoever. So yeah, that's a good one. Adobia, you're on the floor. Adobia.
Hello.
Yeah, Adobia, we can hear you. You're on the floor.
Okay. So I remember Doc said logistics is the planning, management, controlling, and movement of goods and information from the source to the customer and vice versa. And he
Great.
also made mention of the proper handling of the goods. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much, Adobia. That's a good submission. Please, anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else, please? All right, then we can move on. Let's also look at the key drivers of logistics operations. The key drivers of logistics operations. I can remember that he spoke about cost as one of the key drivers, and then speed, and then customer service. Please, I'm just giving the key words here, that the key points. Then
Yeah.
we'll discuss that. Okay, just to refresh our mind. So we have cost, speed, customer service, IT integration, and then globalization. So among these key drivers, let's take them one after the other. Cost. So in logistics management, how does cost become a key driver? We per our definition, we discussed, or per our definition, my colleague just said, you talk about movement of goods. And I don't think that the goods will be moving at a free charge, right? Hello, do you agree with me?
Yes, we agree with you.
Yes, we agree.
No, they are not going to be moved at a free charge. So how does cost becomes a key driver in logistics operation?
Okay, so can we say the cost refers to the money spent on transportation, storage, parking, the packaging, and then fuel or labor?
Yeah, we are not wrong. So how does it become a key driver?
Very true.
It becomes the key driver because without money getting involved with whatever packaging we are doing, the goods are not going to get to their right people or the customers. So money gets involved because that is the cost of it. You cannot just send a package to a driver to send it to somebody for you without paying the person to send the thing for you. So I think that is why that is a suggestion.
All right. Thank you very much, Gabriela. I can see your hand up, Adobia.
Okay, so once again, I remember that Doc said the cost factor runs through all the other key drivers, because you can find cost in customer service, you can find cost in speed, you can find cost in all the other drivers. So it is important to plan so that you manage the cost.
Okay. Thank you very much, Adobia. On the participants here, I have Mr. Sufi. Mr. Sufi. Mr. Sufi, please, are you here?
Yes, sir, I'm with you.
Yeah, please. What would you also say about cost being a key driver?
And I would say that every movement that you make, definitely there will be charges. And so with that cost, the movement will not be effective. And so I think that cost is the most important aspect in logistics. And so I think that without cost, the movement will not be effective for the organization. That's what I'm saying.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Sufi. I also, when we talk of cost, it's about minimizing expenses in all logistics activities. as Adobia rightly said, it runs through all the key drivers. You cannot take cost out. So it's about minimizing expenses in all logistics activities. And some of the activities may include transportation. All right. As I began by saying that those goods that will be transported will not be at a free charge. Secondly, warehousing. Okay, warehousing. You also need costs. So in setting up a warehouse to store for storage of your inventory or for your items, it also involves costs. You have to build your warehouse depending on the size you need or the quantity of items that will be taken into inventory as well. When we talk of inventory, we are talking about items. So even raw materials that you will purchase, they are also cost. And labor as well. Labor as well. There is no entity that excludes labor. Please, do you agree with me?
Yes.
There is no entity that excludes labor. Even hiring labor is a cost. We have to pay them. So you minimize all these expenses in all these activities while still maintaining a quality service. Okay. Please, are you following?
Sure.
Is there any question that okay, I see a hand up due to four.
Yeah, so thank you. I think last week I missed this very point, this very angle of the lectures. When we say key drivers of logistics operations, and we have costs associated with all other things, I have a question here. So are we talking about the tools associated with logistics operations, or what informs logistics operations? I just want to get that angle clear so that I will be able to understand it very well. Thank you. If anybody can help.
All right. Can someone answer Mr. Tufo for us?
Please come again with your question.
Jude, please come again.
Yes, okay. So in fact, when I heard for the first time key drivers, what is even the question? What is the topic? The key drivers of logistics operations.
Yes.
So I was a bit confused. I'm not very clear with what it actually means, because when we say key drivers, initially I was thinking perhaps, let's say, if we are choosing a mode of transportation, what will inform the mode that I would choose? Maybe freight, air freight, or shipment, whatever. But now we say key drivers of logistics operations. I want to understand, when we for what we have costs that we are trying to discuss. Are we trying to say that in terms of logistics operations, it's an attribute? These are attributes associated with logistics operations, or what exactly it is? I just want to understand the topic itself.
Okay, let me come in before Adobia also bring her submission. In logistics, the key drivers are the main factors that shape how goods, information, and services will move efficiently, okay, from suppliers to customers, or to, let's say, the end user. All right. So they influence decisions and even your performance as well, and competitiveness in the supply chain. Okay. So the most widely recognized drivers are what we listed. So we had cost, speed, customer service, IT integration, and globalization. So we took cost to cost. We want to find out why cost is a key driver. All right. Please, are you following?
Yes, thanks so much.
Yeah. Adobia,
Yes.
please, your hand is up. Yeah, we are listening to
Okay.
you.
So that is exactly what I was going to say, that when we say key drivers, They are usually the factors that influence the company's performance or outcome or success or failure. I mean, they determine the success or failure of the company. So obviously, cost is one of the major drivers of every company's success. If you don't manage your cost well, you know what will happen to you. If you manage it well too, you know what will happen to you. Thank you. And I remember Doc made a mention of the total cost of ownership as part of the costs as a driver. So maybe we can discuss that one too, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Hello, but Adobe, I will be glad if you also touch on the total cost of ownership and how it can be a significant driver of logistics. So far, I like what I'm hearing, and all of you have done so marvelously well. So, Adobe, if you could do us that honest, thank you.
Doc, please,
Good
we welcome
afternoon,
you
Doc.
to our session.
Dog, you set us up.
Thank you very
Serious.
much. I'm glad to have joined your session.
Surprise, pa.
Doc, good afternoon.
Yes, good
So
afternoon.
my little understanding of total cost of ownership is that it is the complete cost that is involved throughout the supply chain. So right from acquisition to the movement of goods, information, everything, wherever there is cost, they all come together. Warehouse costs, everything, all the cost associated in the chain is total cost of ownership. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Adobia.
Rep,
Yeah. Well, you've mentioned quite a bit, but I thought that you could add cost of probably maintenance of whatever it is that is being procured, or whatever it is that you're talking about. If you're talking about logistics and it has to do with probably managing transport, how about managing those transport logistics? All that indeed is part, because that is cost. And so who bears that cost? Is it the buyer or the seller, or who? Is there an advantage for which a company, that you engage, as far as logistics is concerned, is supposed to indeed bear and all that? So you've mentioned all, but I thought that I should bring you up to speed with that one too. What do you think? And this is to everyone. I mean, everyone can bring their minds.
All right. Doc, please, can I come in?
yes.
Yeah.
Sure, you can.
Yeah. As Adobia rightly said, the complete cost of acquiring and operating and maintaining a product. So it's over its entire life cycle. So in logistics, the total cost considers not just the purchase price, but also costs like transportation, handling, even insurance, maintenance, and disposal as well. So why does it matter? When we focus only on the upfront cost, it can be I'm sorry to say, it can be misleading. For instance, a cheap supplier may result in a higher long-term cost due to delays or damage or a poor service. Let's take, for instance, an example. Let's say you are buying a cheaper fleet. When I mention a fleet, let me use a trailer that is delivering items. Okay, if you purchase a fleet truck, it might save money initially. Okay, but if they break down often, you have to maintain it, and then the downtime increase the overall cost of it. Okay. Julius, please, your hand is up.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah, Julius, please, you're on the floor.
Yes, Rep. I just want to add another point to it. Actually, you made mention of most of them.
When Doug was explaining it, he made mention of the cost of warehousing, cost of TNT and maintenance, and then even administrative cost also. Administrative cost. We can also add that one to it. And actually, after all that, we're supposed to have at least a percentage of an amount that we can put it down in case there is a shift in the agenda to do. Sometimes you can plan maybe 3 days for a particular work to be done. But by the time you are due to certain uncertainties, you have to move to another day or two. So I think you're supposed to add a percentage after you've calculated all your costs. You're supposed to add another at least 10% of what you've calculated. That will help you, or that will cover whenever there is another expenses, so that you wouldn't be caught in the net. Thank you.
Thank you very
Hello,
much.
Tony.
Thank you very much, Jude Esiedu. Before I mention you to for Isaac is on the floor. Isaac, please come in.
Okay, thank you very much. So, in addition to what have been said already, for me, I see the TCO, the total cost of ownership, as let's say a complete cost, okay, which includes whether when you are acquiring, when you are operating, maintaining after operating, maintaining it, and even when you are disposing of an asset. Okay, so all the costs that goes into all of these things come up to form the total cost of ownership. And you know, sometimes, most times it's used for its long-term benefits. So you are thinking, like you rightly said, you want to get something. Let's say you want to buy a car. Okay, so you decide that your money, you don't have that amount to go for a tear rubber car, but you want to go for a second-hand car. Now you ask yourself, after getting the second-hand car, how frequent am I going to maintain the car? Okay, what will be the consumption? Because the more every car has its lifespan, the more it's being used, the more the wears and tears come up. So at the end of the day, you are going to end up wasting more on maintenance, trying to get the car work the way you want. And by so doing, if you should give yourself some time to come, you realize that the amount that you have even spent on the car, if you have summed everything up and with its acquisition, could have even gotten a newer one. So this is what I also have to say, that it embodies a whole lot. The acquiring it, its operation, maintenance, and most times even when you even want to dispose of the assets. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sir Isaac. You to four.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, so I think all my apport has been said, but from the procurement point of view, that's a procurement officer. So when I'm going to procure an item, so let me say all the various elements have been said in terms of the cost going beyond the unit price. Now, let's say I want to import something from China. I will check the price and you see it to be very cheap. But now you have to add the cost of the shipment, the custom duties, the taxes, the freight, and all other things. When you put all other costs together, which includes, as my brother said, disposal, everything, that's against perhaps buying the same product from maybe in Ghana here. Maybe when I do all those calculations and all those, putting all those costs together, it perhaps might be cheaper for me to buy it in Ghana here. Perhaps we have a made in Ghana product which has a similar qualities, but due to maybe the differences in the taxes and the shipment and all other things put together, when I put total cost of ownership together, I may now go for the one in Ghana since it's closer to me in terms of speed in delivery and also everything, as compared to seeing the initial cost in China. Maybe the cost in China is $1, but the one in Ghana perhaps is $1.50. But when you put everything together, the one in China, by the time it gets to me, the total cost of ownership might be $2, which is higher. So that is my take on the total cost of ownership. Thank you.
Thank you to four. Hey, this your
I
Paul
know.
there. This your Paul is very, very loaded. I thought you were going to mention about shipping costs and those stuffs.
Because they have been mentioned already and all other things, I decided to just go with my example. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, we have other factors to also look into. Yeah, Charles is here. Charles,
I,
you will be the last person.
Okay, thank you very much, Tony. In view of everything that has been said, I think alongside, it's not just about the direct and indirect cost alone in logistics or in supply chain. Also, there can be another cost to that. Initially, a service can be given free. For example, if we go to a tech hub looking for a technology software to run our system, they can decide to give it to us that, okay, we can provide the system for you initially for free, but they'll take monthly charges. And with that one too, it can also form part of total cost of ownership. So I just wanted to add a little to it that sometimes it could also be services rendered. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Charles, for all your submission. Let's look into the next driver. That is speed. Speed. Mandy. Mandy, are you here? Hello, Mandy.
Yes, I'm with you guys.
All right, Mandy. We are looking at the next key driver, that is speed. Can you tell us what does speed got to do with how is it a driver, a key driver?
Speed.
Yes.
Please, so give me a minute.
All right. Okay. All right. Rosita, yes. Your hand is up. After Rosita, Gabriela is here. We'll go to Gabriela. Rosita, you're on the floor.
Okay. When we talk about speed in logistics, I understand it to be how fast goods, how fast things move in the supply chain. Like, sorry, from the beginning, from production through to all the steps necessary to the customer. That is how I understand it to be, please, to the final stage.
So speed, are you talking about how fast a product alone?
Like the goods through the transportation of goods from the source to production to manufacturing to the final stage, like the customer, like
All right.
goods
Thank you very much.
information, all the logistics.
Okay. Thank you, Rosita. I would like to add to it that we don't only look at how fast goods are transported. We also look at services rendered and even information. Information is key. Let me use one example here. When you have a problem with your network service provider, so let's say MTN, and you want to call their customer service, sometimes you find out that you'll be on the queue for a very long time just to send your complaint. Okay, so in logistics, when we talk about speed, it is not just transporting goods or items. It can be information. Okay, it can be service that you want to render. Thank you very much. Let's hear you. Please, your hand is up.
Yes, I'm sure you just mentioned it. I was about to talk about market response. If the response coming from the market is slow, it also affects you. So in terms of speed, market response also plays a role. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Esiedu. Anybody else that want to talk about speed? Seth. Tete, please, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you people.
Yeah, Tete, could you please tell us why speed is a key driver?
I believe speed is a key driver in the sense that when you are looking for your raw materials, how fast are your suppliers being able to provide you the raw materials so you can produce? How fast are you also how fast are you to supply your goods to the market? And another factor I think speed will be needed is if in case of choosing transport, which transportation is the best way? Is it by sea? Is it by air? Depending on the item you are moving. So I think speed is is also a driver of logistics.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. I will add to it that speed it measures the responsiveness of the supply chain. So faster logistics can improve customer satisfaction and give a company a competitive advantage. So let's say when you are comparing two suppliers, okay, and you are using speed as a KPI to assess them, you find out that if one, let's say supplier A is able to deliver on time, okay, that means the supplier A has a competitive edge over supplier B. This is what I said. Do you agree with me? We are talking about
Come
speed.
again.
I'm using two suppliers as an example about speed. And I'm saying that when supplier A, when a supplier A is able to deliver on time, okay, on time, supplier A has a competitive edge over supplier B. Right? I don't think nobody wants his or her item to be delayed. Let's say you are a business, you are business oriented. Do you agree with me with that? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, we agree.
Yeah, Emmanuel, please, your hand is up. Please, what
Yes,
do you
Mr. Tony. Mr. Tony,
Emmanuel,
please, can we link proximity to speed?
can you link
Proximity.
proximity?
Yeah.
Yeah, feel free. Let us know why we can link that too.
When we say speed, is how faster and quicker you receive your items, right?
Yes,
so
please.
in a case when it's we have a catastrophe event. So maybe I have a supplier in Takrady. I've checked the speed of that supplier. But when the car was coming, there was an accident. So in this case, speed is nonsense here. If I'm making sense. But if it's proximity, if the supplier is near you, that one you can receive the goods earlier than the speed.
Emmanuel, I didn't get you clear here. You talk about proximity, right?
Yeah.
And you mentioned that supplier is delivering an item and eventually he had an accident.
Yes.
Whilst you can take it from someone who is just close by. Is that what you are mentioning?
Closer to you. Yeah.
I believe that it's before you do all this, you might have considered certain factors before.
Planning.
Yeah.
Not necessarily taking it close by or from a long distance. So I'm not too okay with it. I believe that I'm not too convinced because you do all your paperwork. I mean, you consider certain factors before you place the order.
Yes.
Maybe it could be the quality of the product or a whole lot of factors that you will consider. Okay. All right. Please, who else? To four.
Yes, Tony, thank you. So when we talk of speed in logistics operations, obviously, the end game is for customer satisfaction. So, when we talk of speed, I'll talk of operational efficiency here. Let's say you are dealing with a company that practices the just in time.
Okay.
Speed is of essence to them because they wouldn't have time or they don't have the luxury to wait for item to get to them. So speed is of essence here. And to add to that, we have some kind of speed is also a time sensitive product because for instance, you want to transport perishable products like tomatoes. Recently, we heard in the news our women went to Burkina Faso or so to get tomatoes. So imagine you are going for tomatoes, perishable goods, and you want to use, let's say, MC shipment to ship the tomatoes. By the time they get here, everything might have gotten rotten. So speed is of essence. It also helps us in the logistics operations and help us to take proper decisions to satisfy our customers. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Tufo.
Hello, please, Tony, can I come in here?
Please, who may I know who this is?
This is Daniel.
Oh, Daniel Tete, please. Yeah.
Daniel.
Um,
Yes, speed is very essential in logistics management, but we must always know that most of the time, speed in its form, whether we are moving goods and services with the fastest way we can, also is directly related to the cost that we incur as it goes along. For instance, if we buy products or certain services from China, if it has to go to a flight, it costs more than when it goes to the sea. So speed by itself, it's always associated with the cost that it comes with. As we look at it, the speed, we should look at speed together with cost. Then we can make an
Thank you very much, Daniel. So far, we have discussed the definition of logistics management and explored two key drivers. We explained what cost is and speed, along with examples and discussion points. Dr. Prempeh has joined us, and we will now give him the platform to continue the lecture. Dr. Prempeh. Hello, Dr. Prempeh.
Yes, hi.
Yeah, please, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. And I'm very elated with, your show of responsibility. And I must say that is indeed the way to go. Very happy that, you've taken the bull by the horn and you are in this awesome posturing with regards to looking at what has indeed happened over the last time that we met. I think that one of the things that I also want us to quickly look at is having looked at the various definitions, etc., and then also considering the drivers and all the purpose for logistics. I think that one of the areas that is also worth mentioning is the fact that there are challenges if you want to indeed engage in logistics operations. And that is very have a very negative impact on the life of the operations. And so, especially when it comes to issues like cost of fuel. I mean, in recent times, we've had some stability with regards to fuel, but a couple of years back, you and I would recognize that, the volatilities was just undulating. And at every point in time, you realize that there's indeed some increment. It never reduced every time, most of the time was, an increment. And that was indeed affecting the total cost of logistics operations. And of course, it fed into every aspect of the supply chain. Talk about fleet management and all that. They were all affected. So that is indeed one significant challenge that can indeed pose on operations as far as logistics is concerned. Again, you can also pick the fact that there can be poor infrastructure. If you look at our country, the one significant mode that we may have is indeed the road sector. And without roads, I mean, then it becomes very, very difficult. And our roads also are not indeed that motorable like that. And I say that, I know that you understand. So it poses a challenge as far as utilizing logistics as a strategy is concerned, because why? Why would you want to indeed utilize logistics as a strategy? You want to have quick service to your customers. You want to be able to ensure that even if you are using last mile delivery systems, it would indeed work and ensure that customers are essentially excited about products and services. But that challenge is with regards to infrastructure. Our railway lines are not functioning, and then air is so difficult and so expensive and all that. And even the air, its management, especially within, is horrendous. You get to the airport, they tell you this is not flying, this one is not flying. And you have to now drive all the way to a car station, or even take another car to a car station. And if you are going to Kumasi, look at the number of hours you reduce from Accra to Kumasi. So all that is indeed a challenge, especially within. And that is not to say that within the global enclave, all is well there. In many other countries, they're facing similar challenges. If you are listening to what's happening in Burkina Faso, it is now that they are looking at having 5,000 kilometers of very good road, 5,000. Okay, so it presupposes that there's a lot that in Africa we can do. And again, the connecting, let's say from here to Togo, Togo to Benin, Nigeria, that kind of a thing. It is indeed poor infrastructure that is eating us up. Also, you can talk about maintaining control and visibility of inventory in the supply chain. That is also quite a daunting task. Okay, but recently there's been the introduction of new systems like that of DHL and others, which can be used to track and control goods that are moving from one point to another. And so at least we can say that, there's been some significant success chalked in that wise, where you can track wherever goods is coming from or going. Again, we can also talk about the changing customer demand. You and I have become very sophisticated. I mean, and it is indeed as a result of choice, the choice that we have. Because if Yango is delaying, why don't I go for Uber? Sometimes I wouldn't even care about the amount of money I'm paying. I'll just, because of what? The changing demand. We are indeed poised for speed. And I like the way you indeed indicated that Speed 4 was indeed a driver of logistics. Yes, we are poised for speed. And so as customers, as stakeholders, we want to receive our goods on time, make sure that everything is on point. So there's been rapid technological changes. Indeed, that can also affect logistics operations because sometimes getting up to speed with new technologies take time. Before you say, Jack, there's another technology. And if you're not careful, you may miss out on the very fine technology that is indeed affecting the logistics industry. So that is indeed also part of the challenge. And sometimes bringing your staff up to speed with certain technological changes, it takes time. Change management will have to kick in. It takes time and all those things. And it becomes quite a daunting task. Trading policies and regulations can also change and can affect logistics operations. Having procured maybe some buses, in a few years, it is indicated that these buses are not good for our roads and things that there's change in policy and all those things. It can indeed affect the logistics operation. And then you can talk about the personal factors, so political, economic, socio-cultural, technological, legal, etc. Ecological, all these factors actually affect logistics operations. Again, you can talk about risk and disruption. So some of the risks, there's nothing you can do about them, okay, especially when it is indeed that which has to do with the act of God. There's not much that can be done, but those ones which is man-made, there's a lot that can be done about it. So it's prudent that risk management responses kick in so that we can indeed curtail some of these things. Okay, so there's lack of cooperation among service providers, which can also affect logistics. Inadequate logistics professionals, of course, and then globalization, environmental concerns. These are all very, very important. And now we are talking about green logistics, which is supposed to ensure that whatever logistics operations that is being considered, the environment is indeed placed at the forefront, and environmental considerations are looked at, especially making sure that whatever activities that there are, especially when you're using the environment, you make sure that you keep it in such a way that future generations can also benefit from whatever it's there. So various concepts have been developed to ensure that these environmental concerns are adequately considered. So these are some of the challenges with logistics operations. Any questions, please? Yes, Jude.
Hello, sir. Sir, please, don't you think that energy is also a challenge?
Energy what?
Energy is also energy, as in whether power or electricity. It is also a challenge when it comes to these points that you have raised.
Yes, most definitely. So I'll put them under either the environmental concerns or infrastructure concerns, because see, and now we are confronted with all these electric cars. How prepared are we? And so logistically, it's poor logistics. In fact, here I wouldn't even say poor. In fact, we are not prepared. Okay, we are not prepared for these electric cars, for example. Okay, so it's presupposed that we need to plan ahead and make sure that all these are indeed in place. Okay, all these are in place before we even think of importing all these electric cars and things like that. You see, it's very, very important. So here you say that there is indeed lack of logistics infrastructure for that purpose. Thank you. For that purpose. You understand? So Jude, I indeed agree with you. Here is not poor logistics infrastructure, but it is indeed lack of logistics infrastructure that indeed can meet the times that we are in. Okay. So that's indeed part of it. Again, you have mentioned energy. Yes, for Ghana, we are making frantic efforts to indeed broaden our energy, more or less our power base. Okay, but there's still more to be done, especially in the renewable energy area. There's still some more to be done. Yes. Okay, Jude 2-4. No, let me ask Jude. Have I attempted to answer your question?
Yes, please. Yes, please. Thanks so much.
All right, you're most welcome. Yes, Jude 2-4.
Yes, sir. So thank you very much. I'm looking at the last point, that is environmental concerns. I'm just thinking, wouldn't it fall under the pestle factors?
Oh,
Since
yes.
the pestle, yes.
So environmental or ecological issues. So
okay.
we
All
can
right.
still add it there. Yeah, can still add
All
it
right.
there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Most welcome, Jude. Yeah. Any other? All right. Well, if there's none, let me do this. Let's go back and at least consider this. Okay. Now, customer service in the logistics environment. Why am I, trying to center or place this on a high pedestal? Why do you think it is something that is of critical for some of us to indeed highlight this? Richard Hubo.
Yes, sir.
Richard, yes. Why do you think I'll place emphasis on this?
Please, in logistics, customers are the main factor. They have to be satisfied with whatever we are doing. In supply chain, we say they are the king and the queen. So customer has to be satisfied. They have to get the item or the goods that they want, the time that they want it, fit for the purpose. They have to get a good price. All is about customer. So if the service is good, they will come back again, please.
Okay, great. Now let me talk to Amina.
Hello, sir.
Yes, what's your surname?
Haruna.
Okay.
Yes, so I think the customer also helps shape what we are doing because they bring us feedback on whatever service we are providing to them. It helps us also make changes in certain things that they are not satisfied with. So you go back, you make all the changes, and then you bring back what they want. So.
Okay, I think that that also suffices, which means that you do that to understand their needs, and then you provide the goods and services to meet those needs.
Yes, sir.
That's beating about the bush. Okay. All right. Yes. Any other? Daniel Kone.
Yes, Doc. Ultimately, you're in business to make money. Customers are the ones bringing you money. So you make sure that they are satisfied. So customer service is critical in logistics.
Okay, great. That's also good. So to enhance your profit base, it's important to look at it. Yes, Adobia.
Doc, so I was going to say that without the customer, there is no business. So you can't do anything without involving customer service in your work. If you want to stay in business, thank you.
Okay, so that's also a good one. If you want to stay in business, just to rehash the points that customer service is key. Yes, good.
Yes, Doc. So I'll add up to say that, customer service in logistics environment is very key and important because quality customer service is very crucial for any business. So it helps to increase sales. It helps us to retain our customers and uncover some opportunities that it helps us to uncover opportunities to cross-sell and upsell, improve existing products. And also, as my brother said, talked about feedback. So when you pay critical attention to customer service, you are able to serve the customers well, and if the customers are satisfied, it means you keep customers, they become loyal to you, and you increase sales. So basically, customer service is very important in logistics operations. Thank you.
Yeah, very well, very well, very well. Yes, Frank, Sophie, you have your hand up.
Doc, yeah, I must say that customer service in logistics is a crucial way in logistics management as it impacts customer satisfaction and loyalty.
Okay,
Hello?
customers. Yes, I'm listening.
Yeah, customer satisfaction and loyalty, yes.
Fantastic. Okay. I'm Exo, Ellie.
Doc,
Yes.
yeah, in logistics, we say customers are key because at the end of the day, they are the final beneficiaries of whatever we do in the logistics process. So, satisfying the customer is an important requirement in logistics. Thank you, Doc.
Okay. That's great. I think I see Sarah Dembele. Your hand is up.
Yes, Doctor, at this point I've said it all. But as a customer service and logistics person, I'll just speak about my experience. Like customer service, first of all, in my world, we make sure that the products are delivered on time in the right quantity and then in good condition. Because if we fail on those aspects, it means that we are losing the customer. So we also ensure good tracking actually of all our shipments, and we make sure that customer is very well informed about the goods. So when he's getting it, what is actually happening, and then yeah. So that's what I wanted to speak on.
All right, great. All right, great. Tony, is there something?
Yeah, yes, Doc. Please, I would also like to add that they serve as a problem resolution in logistics, meaning that problem resolution in logistics will focus on handling issues that may arise during the delivery process, such as delayed shipment, damage, or incorrect orders. So here the goal is to solve these problems quickly, efficiently, and professionally so that the customer still feels valued. So they serve as a problem resolution. Thank you very much.
That's a good one. Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah. So let's see what's in there and then try to make Stephen Tate. Do you have something to say?
All right. I want to add that. So we are in business, and the main aim is to have competitive advantage over our competitors. And as we spoke about, customer service is one of the key drivers when it comes to logistics operation. It involves making ourselves very flexible to our customers and having that communication that will always bring our customers to our side of business. Thank you.
Very well noted. Let's see what's in there. Okay, so I'm saying that achieving effective customer service has become a critical matter. And indeed, in today's competitive environment, you require that the customer is placed at the center of every move. And I mean every move, because if you look at logistics, why logistics has become very important and critical in these times, it is because the drivers of logistics are so critical to the customer. All the drivers that you mentioned are so critical to the customer. So indeed, customer service as far as logistics management is concerned is to be looking at what? The time, the dependability, the how you communicate, the flexibility, the lean, the convenience, and also the responsiveness of a particular organization such that it leads to customers becoming loyal through the improvement of sales and also enhance that, then eventually it enhances the profit, potential profit of the organization. So you are looking at a series of activities that is designed to enhance the level of customer satisfaction. And how do you do that? You do that by taking one of these drivers per time and then making sure that every aspect, so if you, for example, if you take communication, you start communicating with the customer before the customer engages you. So if your poster looks shambolic, your adverts on air is something else, it's not too good, and your social media posts and whatever you are advertising on all these online platforms are not on point, then what are you communicating to your customers? Because the customer should be attracted to actually come to you. And so before they come, there's an expectation. Okay, so if your front desk is called and whoever is sitting there is giving an unsatisfactory service to those on the other end, what happens? It means right from the word go, customer service is gotten wrong. So the provision of service to a customer before, during, and after a purchase is so fundamental and so critical. Before and during and after. So you can categorize some of these, levers or some of these activities into before, during, and after, as your organization engages various customers. Okay, so what happens if you should place the call? What happens? Would they call back that indeed that communication? Would they get back to you? Okay, what is the process? How short it is? So you can quickly get your goods. Have you communicated that to your customer for which they can hold you accountable and responsible? So I'm just learning that a place like Burger King, the length of time you should spend between when you place the order and you receive your order is 2 minutes 50 or 2 minutes 30 seconds or so. So 2 minutes 30 seconds or 2.5 minutes. You understand? So if that is the case, and then you can hold them responsible. That see, I placed the order and I'm still here, or that I've not received my order and blah, 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 blah. You can hold them responsible. If you do not know what happens. But you see, even if the customer does not know, your actions and inaction will indeed instigate the customer to come back and come and receive such service. So you are looking at activities such as placing the call, the process, delivering. It means that timelines and all will have to be in the delivering domain. And then again, follow up on any bottlenecks is also considered. Is there a way of communicating back to the company that, hey, this is the process and we think that it is too long? Thereby listening to the voice of the customer. Is there anything like that? So all these evaluations will have to be made in order to ensure that the customer is placed at the center of your operations. So why is logistics key in customer service? And I've mentioned quite a bit about it, but we may want to add this. You want to be the market share leader. You want to enhance your competitiveness. You want to differentiate your projects and support meeting the requirements of the market, and also be customer service sensitive. Again, you can also look at the fact that you want to indeed ensure that your brand is held in high esteem within the market and all that. So all that indeed is very important as far as customer service delivery system is concerned. But when you are developing your customer service policy, what should you be looking at? What should you be looking at? Because see, if you want to develop a customer service policy, fundamentally, you should understand the market. What is it that the market would respond positively to? What are the characteristics of this particular market? I also got to know today that sometimes the customer, if it's a drive-through activity, the customer gets to the counter, you know, drive-through to there's a period for which the driver should stay there or should be within that time limit. Then this is the time that the driver will be asking the service person, what is their menu or where is their menu? You are using the drive-through services, you don't know their menu. When you get there, and that's when you start asking. And that indeed takes time. So whoever is, if you are 10 cars behind you, that person, instead of spending 2 minutes, will be taking about 10 minutes. So it presupposes that you need to understand the market. You need to also bring to bear the socio-cultural factors that indeed there are as far as that particular market is concerned. So if you want to develop a customer service policy, you have to understand this. Else, then you'll be utilizing this policy. You should be utilizing this policy somewhere outside of our enclave because you've not placed our customer. When I say our customer, the customer within that particular market, you've not placed them at the center of your operations. So some of the steps is that you need to identify the main elements of service and identify the market segment. Okay? Because different market segments will respond differently to certain customer service policies. You have to determine the relative importance of each element as enshrined and establish competitiveness at the current service level that is being offered. So you need to know what is happening now and see whether it is satisfactory or not. But of course, if it is satisfactory, there's always room for what? Improvement. And then you have to develop specific customer service packages. In every service policy, there has to be some exceptions. And those exceptions has to do with packages for specific people or brackets of the market. It cannot be the same. How you serve customers in East Legon cannot be the same as how you serve customers at Choco, because the dynamics are different. Get the context. The dynamics are different. So that market segment is different from that of Choco, the area around Choco. And there may be different requirements as far as the customers are concerned. Customer needs cannot be the same. Cannot be the same. So it means that you develop specific service packages for specific market and determine the monitoring and control procedures or criteria. Very important, because you understand that these are different places or customer segment. It means how you control, how you manage the whole process, customer service process within these enclaves have to be so different and has to be monitored and controlled. So as far as customer service is concerned in logistics, let's look at some components. Okay, so you are looking at on-time delivery services. Okay, the order fill rates. We want to be looking at the product condition. Okay, so at every point, so if it is indeed a coaching-oriented product, you have to make sure that the product is indeed in the right conditions that can move from one point to the other under the right conditions. Okay, even when it is in a warehouse, the warehouse has the right conditions to be able to hold some of these products. There's also consideration of the accuracy of documentation, very, very important, and the appropriateness of such documentations. We're talking about stock, availability, or otherwise. The order cycle time. Okay, the order cycle time, also very, very important. Okay, all these are very critical to the customer. Complete delivery orders, start to finish. Order status information. Someone places an order, they don't know where it is, how it is, and all that. And no, nothing is communicated until the product reaches the customer's end. I mean, what is that? Methods of ordering. Okay, these days, if you want to order and you don't have any platform, any WhatsApp platform, or Facebook, or Instagram, and all these social media areas, then I'm wondering what you're doing. Okay, if you think that customers have to always walk in, then you have a problem. Again, there's also monitoring of post-delivery services, handling complaints, and also ensuring that after-sales services are on point. How do you ensure that all this happens? So it's very important that these components, the customer service component in operations, are adequately looked at. There are several of them as well. Okay, even feedback. Okay, feedback to the organization. It may not necessarily mean complaints, but there may be feedback. So for example, Ideal Milk at a point in time came in with some kind of package where you open the milk like you are opening the sardine or the tinapa or something like that. I don't know if you saw it. Who saw that one?
So I saw it.
Yes.
It's called Easy Open.
It is called Easy Open. But did that help? Do you think
They stopped.
Come again?
They've stopped.
It did.
No, sir, it didn't help because if you open, you have to use all.
So one will wonder what kind of research went into that before bringing that to the market. Apart from when you open and you have to pour all, you can't save anything. You can't save some. And you know that in our environment, every spoon, even the type of spoon that you use to measure is
Doc.
Oh, I mean, these things, they happen in Daniel's house, Jude's house, Seth. All of you, it happens in your house. Don't bring yourself. So you see, they will measure. Sometimes it is the very small teaspoon, or it will be half of the bigger spoon. They share it amongst everyone. And the milk has to be there for just a tin of milk. It will be there for maybe 4 or 5 days. You understand? And you have brought in a package. Well, when I open, I have to use everything. My goodness. It can survive in that market. You understand? So there are others. Anyone you remember which is not here? I mean, components of customer service logistics. Any other which is not here? Any other which is not here? Yeah, beautiful.
Sir, so thank you. I would like to dive into the informal sector. I'm looking at the product condition. So when we are moving products, let's say tomatoes from the farm gates to a place like KFC, Burger King, whatever it is, because we know they will not take the sports one or the perished ones, we make sure we get those ones to them. But there's also another market for the I don't know how to describe, is it rotten or something? There's also a very high market demand for those other ones as well. So I want to find, is it because there's a market for it? That is why logistics movers in this informal sector are not paying key attention to such products. So that's my question, please.
Oh, yeah, Jude. I'm not sure that, they are not paying attention to that. What I can say is that, you see, we have limited infrastructure to store farm produce across the country. Limited. Did you not hear recently that Asante Achem people were begging government to buy their tomatoes?
Yes.
You have produced. We don't even get tomatoes in Accra to buy. Somebody is in Asante Achem, the tomatoes are getting spoiled. They are begging, handing out, begging that now even you not even call the agri minister, begging the president to come and see to it that it is bought. You understand? So there's a challenge. There's a challenge. So it's not as if, and if you don't buy it, pigs can eat it. So it's not as if they are not giving attention. There is, but what can you do? Okay, now they start selling it, for pittance. Why? Because you don't get anybody to buy it. You can't transport it. It's expensive. It's expensive to travel with it, to push it there. How much will you even sell it? Then it is for free. So these are the challenges. If we are able to solve our deficit as far as logistics is concerned, oh my, we can make inroads. Last year, I attended a meeting where Nigerians are looking at the effect of logistics on their GDP. I think that is something that we also have to look at, so that we can quantify the amount of money that is being lost between Accra and Kumasi alone. Because the only means that we can get to Kumasi is the only viable and considerable means is by road. And if you should take me right now, as I sit, if I say I'm going to Kumasi, I'm in Accra, I'm sitting at Tesano campus, I'm going to Kumasi, it will not take me less than, 6 hours to get to Kejetia. Not less than 6 hours. Sometimes you may think that it's about the time of day. Try it and see. Try it and see. And when you use the midnight to accidents. So it's really a challenge. So it's not just about the fact that, they are not paying attention. No, they are. But it's just about what to do to survive. And so you do one or two, take the risk. If it works, fine. If it doesn't, you move on. That's where we are. Yeah, but in terms of its usage, I mean, for tomatoes especially, you will definitely get buyers to utilize the ones that you are indicating that they are getting near rotten or rotten. Okay, it can be used for other things. Yeah. Remember, it is organic, and so there are other uses for the search. And then Mandy too has brought in a very important point, talking about returns and reverse logistics. Very, very important. Very, very important as far as customer service is concerned. I think it was mentioned, right? Yeah, so after sales. Okay, after sales is indeed reverse, but the returns, okay, all of them are after sales. You know, you return only when you have purchased, so after sales. So it's very important, yeah. All right, can I move on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now there's something called total logistics concept, okay, which aims to bring together many different elements that come under the broad category of all logistics operations into one synchronized integrated system. Okay, so you want to plan adequately, especially when it comes to distribution and all other logistics activities. You put them under one umbrella, and then you make sure that every aspect of the logistics system is taken into consideration, especially when it comes to examining the need of the market, the service level that is required by the market, and how to ensure that cost is adequately managed within that space. Okay, that indeed fits into the total logistics concept because it recognizes the various relationships that exist between different elements. So, for example, placing the order fulfillment, order processing, documentation, transport, storage, distribution, returns. Are they not related? Packaging. Are they not all related? Inventory. Warehousing. Is there a relationship between warehousing and packaging? Is there a relationship between warehousing and packaging? Yes, Adobia.
Yes, Doc, I believe there is a relationship because the packaged items, let's say if they are finished goods, they will be kept somewhere before they are moved to the customers or the distributors or wholesalers or whoever will come for the items. So there is that relationship.
Okay, well noted. Yes, Tony.
No, please, there's a strong relationship between warehousing and packaging in logistics, in the sense that when a well-designed...
Tony.
Doc, please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can now.
Yeah. Doc, please, when items are being packaged well, okay, it reduces you're able to use the space in the warehouse efficiently when the items are well packed. But when it is left haphazardly, it is difficult to store them. So there's a strong relationship between warehousing and packaging.
Very well, very well, very well. Okay, great. Okay, let's hear from Gabriela. Hello, Gabriela.
Dog. Yeah, I was saying that, can I also say that they are closely connected because packaging affects how goods are stored, handled, and protected in the warehouse. And also, without proper packaging, warehouse management becomes difficult and costly.
Very well. So you see, if you are unable to package adequately, it means that not a lot can fit into your warehouse. And again, you need to be able to package adequately so that you are able to realize how and where you should store some of these products. Because the packaging contains some form of information, isn't it? That will showcase the conditions under which you should store the products in your warehouse. The package can also have some labeling, which can be used to showcase the quantities that are indeed left or the quantities that are supposed to fit into a particular warehouse. And so, let's say, for example, you have this. I don't know if you can see. You have this. What is this? What is that?
Belapa.
Oh, no, I don't mean the... I'm
The
showing you something on
barcode.
the pack.
Is it not a barcode?
The barcode.
Exactly. What does the barcode do?
Information. Okay.
What does it do?
You can it and get the information.
Logistics managers, you don't know what the barcode does. Rosita, tell them quickly before.
I think it gives you information on how to keep the item, how to protect it. And then like more information concerning the items you have.
Yeah, it gives the unique information about the products you have.
Unique information. Yes, who else?
Yeah, so Doc, it actually gives information, as we've said, but this information includes the quantity of the item itself. Perhaps you can add pricing to it. All right, thank you.
Yeah, I think that this is more specific. So,
Doc,
yes.
it also helps us to know the usage. And sometimes it even comes with the expiry date also.
Okay, so we are talking about the date, you're talking about the quantities and all that. So what is scanned? Is it not the barcode that is scanned when you get to, let's say, you go to Accra Mall, you visit the counter, you pick one water? Is that not what is scanned?
Yes.
Yes.
So what is that scanning for?
For the pricing.
The
Pricing.
price and then the expiring date.
And what else? Okay, so the price, expiry date, you're taking a...
To identify the product.
Okay, Mandy is saying you identify the product. Okay, great. You identify, and sometimes it is used for inventory management purposes. Yeah?
Of the product.
Once you scan, then probably there's a deduction of that particular quantities out of what stock is left. So that can also be used for stock management.
Okay.
Okay. Apart from that, it also, as you've also alluded to, give some information of the product and all that. And if there's a system that you are using, which is called vendor managed system, it means that your vendor who actually supplies that particular product will get to see the quantities that are indeed the level of replenishment. So if he has gotten to the economic order quantity or the quantity that is required to be brought to bear, then there is some form of replenishment. Is that okay? All right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so Esaba is saying stock levels. Esaba?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What is your surname?
Bonnie.
I'll add it for you. Next time, please, I won't add it for you. You have to add it yourself. Okay. Sarah Bonnie. Okay. Rename. All right, so let's move on.
Hello, Doc.
Yes.
Please permit me to say this. I think what I'm about to say was not mentioned. Most importantly, when we scan the barcode, we want to ensure that the product is picked, or it has been packed, or it has been shipped. When the items are not being scanned, we can assume that the item is still sitting, or is still in stock. But as soon as we scan it, it tells us that those items have been picked. So it gives information to the person managing the stock that this item is picked. Thank you, Doc.
Okay, so for stock management, I think it comes back to what we also said about using it to manage stock. It's principally same. But again, I must also say that, barcodes also have some security features. Sometimes when it is scanned, it also means that it is picked and therefore can leave the shop floor. If it is not scanned, you get to the shop floor, you realize, or you try to take it outside, then the alarm will be beeping. So all these are all parts of the security measures that can be indeed brought to bear. So there are some interrelationships or interrelations that may require trade-offs. And that is something that is important that you also recognize. And each cost trade-offs may occur because the changes has been done to one activity or another. Okay, and so it is important that we see what trade-offs there are and then how best to deal with that. Because you are looking at the entirety of the logistics cost. And this logistics cost encompasses delivery, distribution, packaging, etc., etc. And then also you want to ensure that as best you are able to provide the best option as far as customer service is concerned. So balancing these trade-offs is very, very necessary and indeed can enhance your customer service or reduce the brand equity to the barest minimum. Okay, to the barest. So it's important that we consider which option can ensure that there's lower total cost as much as possible. Okay, so it has to be well managed because it can lead to some interfunctional conflicts, especially within functional units of an organization. So that has to be indeed critically perused. So for example, we can say that between distribution components, let's say packaging versus storage requirements, how do we go about it? Or between the company's functions, so optimum production runs against warehousing costs. That has to be looked at. So you want to produce so much. How about the cost of warehousing? Have you considered that? Do you think that it will make more meaning if we continue on that trajectory, producing and storing distribution, than to just produce and then probably make sure that and encounter an issue with regards to storage, or storage costs may be so high that producing may not even make sense. All that has to be really considered. Again, fulfilling customer requests for special deliveries at an inconvenient time. If it's going to eat into your finances, why do you consider that? Of course, you can have special dispensations, but at what cost? Okay, at what cost? If you want to have special dispensations for various clients, it has to come together to also make sure to meet a particular or to more or less ensure that one particular cost is also curtailed as much as possible. Okay, so that has to be looked at. The cost today, and indeed the amount of resources that is going to be expended, what do you make of it? So those trade-offs are very, very necessary. So there are some problems with service to cost trade-offs. Okay, so you need to really evaluate the cost before you start, giving off certain services. Okay, one will say that if you cannot, you know that you can't handle it over time, don't even start it. But you should have done your calculations to know that, okay, these services, if I should extend them at this price, then I'm going to either make gains or make losses. So that if at some point in time you're unable to afford that, then there becomes a problem. So appropriate methods for appraising such problems has to be considered. Okay, whilst examining the environmental factors that could have had an impact on this. So that is very, very important. If indeed you want to avoid a particular activity or action, or even if you want to undertake certain actions, you need to study the consequences. What is the consequence? What has happened before? And what happened? So that based on that, you can also be able to see whether it will be good that you enter into the search activity. Any questions on these trade-offs and customer service policy, delivery, and things like that? Any questions? Any questions? Okay, if there are no questions, then let me ask. Eliza Dodu. Eliza.
Yes, sir.
Are trade-offs important?
Yes, sir.
Why? Why are they important if you say yes? Eliza.
Sir, please, a minute.
Okay, Eric Boache, can you help? Eric Boache.
Listen.
Yes. Eric Boache. Okay, Michael Sessi, are you in class? Are you in class? Okay, so Michael Okosesi is not in class. Let's hear from Ejakun.
Oh. No, please, I'm here.
Talk to us.
Okay, thank you very much, Doc. So I was I was looking more of the customer service, the one that has to do with the customer service. So I'd wanted to add that everything that we are doing has to do with, is in relation to the people that we are trying to serve. And we can only achieve our set goals or our targets if the people that we are serving, they get the expected results from us. So in that tandem, we have to ensure that whatever we do, we look at the customer base to the people that we are serving so that we can get the rightful response from them, thereby informing our decision whether to go on with what we are doing, to reduce it, or better still, to add value to what we are doing.
Okay, very well. Let's see if Adobia can also add her word.
Doc, so I think trade-offs are important because they help organizations manage costs. They help organizations to plan, to know how to go about their operations so that costs is effectively managed. Thank you.
Okay, so Adobia, is it just about costs?
No, Doc, it goes beyond cost, but I just chose to talk about cost.
So
But
add
there
one.
are a lot more factors, just like the drivers we spoke about. So it goes beyond cost. We can talk about speed. We can talk about customer service, like Isaac spoke about, and a whole lot of things. Thank you.
Okay, very well. Very well, very well. Yes. Saba, you want to come back?
Yes, sir. So also it also helps us to manage our resources efficiently, in the sense that, let's say you choose to buy an expensive item now instead of buying a less expensive, looking at how durable or the quality of the item you are buying, it will save you some money that you will spend in servicing in the long run. Because even though you are buying an expensive item now, in the long run, you will not need much money to service when it wears out.
I think that also makes meaning. Okay, great. Judy, you have something to add?
Yes, Doc, thank you. So trade-offs, I want to find out trade-offs is basically the opportunity cost, right?
Judy, you
So
have something to add?
yes, please, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, Doc, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Yes, so I'm saying that trade-offs is basically like an opportunity cost. So for instance, let me just cite this simple example and then I'll come to our logistics. Sacrificing my Sunday going to church to going to heaven than to going to school on Sunday to get certificates. Now, let me say that's just by the way. So let me say, let's say a company decides to put up a warehouse close to its key, let me say, customers. So, for instance, to be able to beat speed, so the customer, a company may say, I'm putting up warehouse in Kumasi in the northern region so that I'll be able to reduce the sort of efficiency to the market to my clients. So I'm trading off something like transporting the goods as and when it's ordered than to have the goods at the right place. I don't know if I'm right.
Well, it indeed adds to the kitty. Yes, so that you know where you are transporting to, whether indeed it's at the right place, and even that place is conducive and suitable for that particular product. And it makes meaning. Yes, Daniel. Sikatu.
Yes, Doc. Sometimes some of our trade-offs could be that by assessing probably a project or a contract that is given you, you know that by doing this you might not make profit, but for the sake of maintaining customer relationship, you intend to do it. For instance, if you are given a contract to transport certain goods from maybe from Accra to Kumasi, and you look at the cost elements that are involved, you know that at the end of the day you might not make any profit out of that particular project. But because you want to maintain the relationship you have with the customer or your business partners, you intend to do that contract. So sometimes the trade-off could be the profit that you will not get as to maintaining your customer relationship. Thank you.
Very well, very well. I think, Tony, you have the last word and then we move on.
Yeah, Doc, please, about the trade-off, I disagree with what my brother Jude said about sacrifice. Trade-off is not just about sacrificing, it's about you are balancing. You are not losing one aspect. You want to balance maybe two or more aspects. Okay. For instance, cost, let's say cost versus speed. All right. Those are challenges and also key drivers of logistics. So as a logistics manager, when you want to plan, you are not just want to, let's say, sacrifice one for the other, but you want to balance the two. If you sacrifice one, that means you are killing one aspect and then gaining one aspect. Thank you, Doc.
Well, yeah, you're not really sacrificing the entirety of that variable. Okay, just that you are looking at how best to manage it such that the organization can benefit adequately from that. And I think that is how we may have to consider it. Okay. Okay, Daniel.
Yes, Doc. So I also stand to be corrected, but there are some times that in the trade-off, you have to lose something. Like the same examples my brother used. For instance, importing a product from China for a customer, for instance, there are two routes that you can use, either by sea or by flight. If you use flight, it means the product will get here on time, that's speed. But you might be, because it's expensive, you might be incurring a little more cost, thereby losing some margins of your profit that you would have probably initially have made, compared to giving it a time for 1 month or 7 weeks for it to get to Ghana for you to give it to the customer. So there are all trade-offs that we look at, and sometimes you lose a little, but like he said, you have to look at it in such a way that you don't lose totally on one side and making the other side go down. So that's what I can say. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Jude, share your thoughts and we move on.
Hello, Doug.
Yeah.
To me, I think trade-off is not necessarily losing one aspect and gain, but it's actually about management and gaining. For instance, you running a hotel and you're supposed to pick a client from the airport. Obviously, you're going to give that client free transportation from the airport to the hotel. And then the gain here is if the person is patronizing your products or your services, you are going to gain more, even though you have lost that TNT from the other side. So it's about management, and at the end, you're supposed to gain. Thank you.
I think that also makes meaning. All right. Thank you. So let's see what we can do as far as managing inventory is concerned. Now, one of the critical areas that organizations will have to be considering is how best to manage their inventory. Failure, indeed, in this aspect of their operations can lead to a lot of problems. I say a lot of problems because okay. Yeah, so I say a lot of problems because it is indeed in the interest of the organization to put in the various. Oh, dude. I do have a problem.
Yes, I'm not feeling well.
Oh, so sorry. Yeah. All right. So, indeed, I'm saying this because many organizations which have indeed reneged on their effort to put in the various systems to manage their inventory have indeed lost out, or they've become out of touch in the market and have lost a lot of customers, and so their business is indeed not in function. And so as far as making sure that the inventories are indeed in place to fulfill the requirements and needs of the customers is concerned, it is of critical to any organization, whether it is public or private, it is. Indeed, it is one of the most expensive assets of the company. Many organizations will have to have inventory in order to be able to either manufacture or have inventory in order to be able to have some distribution done, or have inventory in order to keep the business afloat. So balancing the quantities of inventory that the organization should have at a time, and then also knowing how to get them off the shelves or off their warehouses in an efficient and effective manner is something worthwhile that can either make or unmake a firm. Because you know what, you have your working capital is indeed held in your stocks or your inventory. And so if it is capital that is held there, if it takes a lot of time to be held aground, then it means that you've indeed left a lot of money or a lot of resources sitting aground doing nothing. And so it is very, very important to be measured in what quantities of orders to make, to also ensure that you understand the market and how product moves out of your market is understood, is very well understood. And then also making sure that you don't have frequent stockouts, because that also indeed would affect the brand equity of your organization. And so you need to have systems that will back up the inventory, make sure that there is proper forecasting systems in place, which can indicate that, okay, so for this period, this is the quantity that we may need, and therefore replenished accordingly. So if within a period, let's say January to March, because of whether it's school fees or whatever, or Christmas fever and what have you, between January and March, people don't really buy like that. You should have some data that is indeed backing that assertion. And so you replenish accordingly. Also having at the back of your mind that The lead time is key. The period between when the order is made and when the order is fulfilled, that has to be calculated, and that has to be fulfilled to the best of the customer's knowledge. Now, there should be some reasonability as far as the estimate of cost is concerned. And here we are talking about the holding cost, the ordering cost, and then the cost associated with overstocking and understocking. You don't want you understock, there's an issue. Why? Why is there an issue?
Sir, you lose a lot of sales.
You lose a lot of sales, and then what else?
You lose clients because of disappointments.
You lose clients because of disappointment. Loyal clients, you screw them up. Yes, what else?
But your people will lose trust in you.
Which people?
The people that you supply to, the people that you produce for, that you give to them, like your customers will lose trust in you, thereby not wanting to move on with you. They will look for a replacement for you.
Very well. If they are looking for a replacement for you, then you can understand how it is that, you know, the organization has to put in the make frantic efforts to be able to ensure that all these costs are very well considered. How about if you overstock as well?
But it can sometimes lead to a loss, in the sense that if, let's say, you supply a particular product to this company A, and maybe you looked at their threshold and then you stocked so that you could supply to them. But the rate at which they consume, it was a bit altered, and they were not able to consume that particular product within a set frame. So they will not be able to come back and take what you have. And when it happens that way, especially if it has to do with a product that goes with expiry dates, that means it will end up moving into a loss for you.
Very much so. So when you overstock and then, you know, it gets nearer to expiring, sometimes you find it difficult to distribute all that. Yeah. So indeed, that is a very good time for us to indeed have our break. And so we would indeed come back at 5:15 to continue, or 5:15 to continue. So enjoy your break and have a nice time. See you in a bit.
Thank you, Doc.
Hello, welcome back.
Welcome, Doc.
All right, great. So we're looking at inventory management and how best we can ensure that organizations benefit adequately from either not overstocking or understocking, and also ensuring that there are some reasonable estimates as far as the holding costs and the ordering costs are kept in check. Now, there are a few things that we need to also recognize that inventory can be categorized into several folds. So the type of inventory kept by the organization normally is dependent on which type of organization we are talking about. So, for example, in manufacturing, raw materials we are looking at, if let's say, for example, we're talking about cocoa processing company, which processes cocoa, it means that raw materials can be cocoa beans, raw materials can be water, it can be sugar, etc., etc. That which is used in their manufacturing. You can also talk about work in process inventory. Work in process inventory, sometimes we may call it as semi-finished products, right? So it means that it could have gone through some processes, and then a particular organization will have to finalize the process so that it becomes the finished product. Okay. And then you can also talk about finished goods inventory. Let's say GCT, you haven't 100 air conditioners, which means that you're done with the inventory, you're done with the product, and then it's used. You can also talk about spare parts. Okay, spare parts, which includes some repair parts which are used in repairing various plants, cars, etc. And then you can also talk about pipeline inventory or inventory in transit. So these are some of the categories of inventory that you may want to have. But it's also prudent that we understand why organizations may want to hold stocks or hold inventories. There are different ways of holding inventory, but some organizations will decide that, okay, as for us, we want to hold inventory and for different reasons. So could we tell why organizations will want to keep inventory? Why will firms want to keep inventory? Adobia.
Hello, Doc. Organizations would want to keep inventory so that operations can go on smoothly. Without inventory, they might get to a point and then work will come to a standstill. And it will affect every other person in the supply chain. Yeah.
To affect every other person in the supply chain. Yes, any other. Thank you, Adobia.
All right,
Hello,
Doc.
Doc.
Yes, organizations will want to hold inventory in situations where there are unstable prices. When there are price fluctuations, they want to hold inventory in view of price increment of those raw materials.
Okay. Yes. That's also
Yes,
a good
Doc.
one.
Yes, Doc. So organizations usually keep inventory to, let's say, against uncertainties. So, for instance, they normally do this to protect operations from, let's say, supply chain disruptions. if there are transport issues, supply delays, and all that. So these are one of the reasons. Thank you.
Very well, very well. Knowing that there can be disruptions, you want to make sure that you have enough inventory. That's good. Yeah, Daniel.
Doc, organizations keep inventory mainly for the anticipation of future demand. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so you want to anticipate future demands and therefore you want to keep inventory. Okay, so that's all good. Let's see what we have to allow production. Okay, good, which we have said. I think one of you also said it. So you want operations to run smoothly, and therefore you don't want any truncations in the process. Okay, so you want to keep stock. You want to have inventory as adequately as possible. Again, to take advantage of some discounts, I think that was not mentioned, but when you have huge quantities procured, then of course, economic order, you have ensure that price per unit also goes down. So there's some form of economies of scale happening. A moment, please. Yeah, so getting price discounts also, and also ensuring that you have some form of economies of scale actually enhances the chance of having some savings made as far as those transactions is concerned. When you buy in bulk and all that, cost of shipment and all can also go down, and so cost of transport can also be managed with larger orders. And again, you want to also avoid, all these fluctuations as far as exchange rate and others are concerned. Okay. If there are shortages in the system, which you are anticipating, you can also want to look at that. So, these are all. And then, of course, if you want to indeed ensure that you have some exceptional service provision, that also would indeed mean that you have to have some stocks in there. So that is indeed very important. You want to accommodate variations in demand for some period. So you realize that, okay, for example, during the Eid al-Fitr, there are demands for certain products. And so during that time, you want to stock them more because from your historical data, you realize that within that period, a particular products or services is really attractive, and therefore you attract a lot more customers within that period. If there are variable lead times, you want to take advantage of that. Sometimes you encounter some of these things. You want to ensure that there are no delays, especially when the product has been out of market for a while. You want to make sure that you have enough to provide customers with immediate service. As I intimated, you want to reduce risks of disruption. That's also very important, and appreciating the value is also looked at. Sometimes you want to have quite a number of products of which you can allow customers to actually do their own selection. And that can indeed be a very fine reason why an organization may want to have some stocks one way or the other. Okay. Sometimes you may want to keep it to attract some value. Okay. Sometimes the longer it stays with you, the better it is for you to actually sell it at a bigger value later. So you have some wines and spirits. You hear some names, okay, that has been around since 1822 or 1942, those things. You know, once those wines are open, you realize that it's been around for quite a while and it's seen as very expensive. All right, so all these are very, very important reasons why you want to indeed keep stock. Isaba, what do you mean by planning for future?
What I mean for future stocking is like if you have an inventory of your stockings, it helps you to plan for future restocking. That's what I was writing.
Give an example.
For let's say you are producing chocolates, so you have enough cocoa beans in your warehouse, so it helps you to know the quantity of cocoa beans you will purchase for your next production.
Well, okay. Yes. Okay. Yes, Akapo.
Doc, looking at the reasons for holding stocks, my issue is I want to ask, is it necessary for an organization to hold a stock?
Okay, so that's to the whole class. Is it necessary?
Yes, it's necessary, sir.
So tell Akapo.
Okay.
It's necessary to hold stocks because of all the possible reasons that has been given, like anticipation of price increment, anticipation of hike in or increase in demand, or sometimes you might hold stock because the stock is a complementary stock to a stock that you are dealing with. For instance, example is people who are selling engine oil. If you look at it, all companies who are producers or manufacturers of engine oil are now getting, let me say, oil filters in addition to their stocks, even though it's not their main product, but they stock that one also because it's complementary. It goes in hand with what they do and it makes the work easier for them. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So let's take this scenario. And a supplier who supply umbrella and raincoat. Each and everyone here knows that during June, July, that's the high pressure on those two items. We have checked all predate data. We have checked histories. And the rain, there will be a high rate of raining. And when we get to June, July, there is no a single rain. So if that person hold a stock for supplier incur cost loss,
Akapo, we can't hear you.
hello.
We can't hear you.
I said,
So
can you hear
if,
me?
in, so if in June we don't get rains, then the supplier has lost. Is that what you are saying? Hello?
Hello?
So you are saying that if in June we don't get any rains, it means
Yeah.
that the supplier has lost, isn't it?
Yes, please.
So what, please?
So, assuming the umbrella is that line idle, and the supplier uses a huge amount to purchase them, waiting for the rainy season, but unfortunately the rain couldn't rain.
Mm-hmm. Akapo, what's the question?
My question is, the first question was, is it necessary, looking at all the reasons, they are all logical reasons, but still, is it necessary for an organization to hold a stock? My brother Danny said yes. So there is a scenario. For instance, like let me link it to
No,
Cocoa.
let's stay on the umbrella, please. Don't bring
okay.
it. So you say umbrella in June,
Umbrella.
it doesn't rain. It means that the supplier would have lost, isn't it?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So
thank you for
so
the question.
If
Let's
the supplier
have
use
colleagues answer.
Okay.
Yes, let's have colleagues to answer. Yes, who is 442-891? Where is that one to coming from? Hello, 442-891. Who is this, please? Four 442-891. Who are you?
Sir, it's me, Frank Esilfi, sorry.
Okay. So Akapo is asking this one. Let's help him quickly and then we move on. Because I thought that I had indeed.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Daniel.
Hello, sir. I want to come in a little, yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Akapo, you see that the scenario you indicated is not the usual thing. We all know that June, July, it rains. So if by predictions and data that is existing, they use the data and at the end of the time doesn't rain, okay, fine. The customer might have lost some money, but that is not the usual thing. You get it? The usual thing is that what if the agitatory rains? It means that the customer could have gained a lot of sales by stocking and selling the product. But if he or she didn't buy it, it means that that particular sale will be lost. So the scenario indicated is not the usual thing. So we look at, in prediction, we look at the usual thing, the data available to do. There are sometimes that there will be little deviations, but the deviations are allowed sometimes to happen. So that it is better you use the data that is available than not using anything at all. So by a scenario, it happened, but it's unusual. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Danny. Stephen Tate.
All right, Doug. I'd want to ask a counter question to my colleague. Yuma, do you think it will not be prudent or it will be unreasonable for a company who deals in umbrella not to forecast the sales of umbrella in June, July? And that is where management decision comes in. We all know that in June, July, it rains. And so it is prudent for management to foresee or forecast that the sales of umbrellas, raincoats, the demand will be high. And so for every company that deals in that needs to restock before the season. And as my brother Danny said, it is one of them. And besides, I want to add that even if it doesn't rain this year, I am sure it will rain the following year. And umbrellas and raincoats, some way, somehow, the expiry, the level of expiry is very high. And so you can still make some gains, but not in the short run as you estimated. Thank you, Doc.
Jude. Thank you, Stephen.
Yes, Doc, thank you. So the question Akako asked, the answer I would say a yes and a no. Why? Because it depends on the strategic plan of an organization, how they intend to operate. For instance, Toyota decides to operate the just in time. Only when, for instance, there is a production order, then they begin production. But when you come to, so for Toyota, for instance, because of just in time, they might not be keeping a whole stock over a quarter or a period for no reason. They practice the just in time. But when you come to an industry like the health sector, obviously you must always have stocks, because if you don't have stocks and there's an emergency, humans will lose humans. I mean, will lose lives. And for that matter, there's a need to keep stock. And so it depends on the industry in which you find yourself and the organizational strategy. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I think let's hear from Richard. Fubo.
Yes, Doc. I think Akapo's follow-up question came when the response was yes. Because in this case, you can't say holding the stock or inventory is yes. If it is yes, then you need to defend it. To me, as my brother has just said, I can't say yes or no. Because if you say yes, you have to look at the trade-offs, the disadvantage to an advantage. If you say yes, you have to look at that. So it is a decision of the company to weigh if I hold a stock or if there is an inventory, what am I losing? Or am I doing something that will marry, even if I'm losing, will I have, what decision am I taking so that it will not affect the company that much? So to me, the answer shouldn't be yes. Doc, thank you.
Okay. I think you have final word from course rep.
Yeah, yes, Doc. Doc, thank you for this opportunity. Please, for Emmanuel's question, I will say the inventory itself is not the problem here. The problem is about imbalance. For instance, too much of the stock will tie down your capital, especially when it is not sold or when the stock is not used. And then when you have too little, it will hurt the service. For instance, let's say we are using a salt to cook or for food preparation. You would definitely need the salt to make the soup tasty. When you add too much salt, I mean, you can't take the soup. The same way when it is too little, you can't get the sweetness of the soup. So it's about balancing the stock. And as a manager or as a stock owner, it is your responsibility to see or to find ways of balancing your stock in your warehouse. Thank you very much, Doc.
Yeah, very well. I think I agree with all the assertions that you have made. Okay, especially with regards to the yes or no, whether or not it is prudent that you keep stock. I think it's also dependent on the industry you're talking about. In some industries, you have to have stock. It also depends on the market you're talking about. It also depends on the trade-off you are looking at. I mean, there are a host of factors that would lead to one organization stocking or not. It also depends on the policy of the organization, depends on their supply chains. Somebody gave an assertion on Toyota. Toyota is using just in time, but can Malcolm use just in time? Can NPA? Who works with NPA? Nobody?
Who was with any OMC? Nobody? Okay. How about anybody in the energy sector? No? All right. I mean, in any organization or any sector, there are several variables that has to be considered before one is able to say that, okay, I'm going to stock or not. But saying that, talking about the rainy period, it is too simplistic and indeed an outlier, because we know that, within that period, definitely there are some rains. Even if you are unable to get the full complement of the rain, you can hold on to whatever stock you have and then utilize it at another time. And even why would you indeed hold that much of stock if you are not utilizing data, or you are not indeed going by data? You should be able to utilize data so that you can be closer to average, the specific period or specific quantities that has to be brought in. If you don't have data, then upon what basis are you indeed want to invest your money into that? Or it is just by guessing? That does not suffice. Okay, that does not suffice. So it's important that you replenish based on data, especially your historical data. Last year, for example, December, how much of Belaka was bought in your company? And this year, what am I forecasting? So you can look at 2 or 3 years and then use that as a basis to forecast. There are ways of forecasting, and I'm sure that you would indeed tackle that in your procurement and supply chain lecture. All right, so let's move on. So there are various reasons why organizations would hold stock, and there are also various reasons why organizations will not hold stock or will not hold inventory, because of probably the associated costs. Okay, and then also you can look at the product itself. Okay, the product itself, its perishability, and the market, and there are so many reasons that you can indeed prefer. Okay, but one major thing is that inventory cost is indeed a very significant element of the total cost of the logistics. And so if one considers the nature of products, it can indeed deter a company from indeed having to keep some inventory of that particular product because of probably the characteristics of the product. So for example, in some instances, you require some particular temperature range for particular products. So if the product is not really moving as it should, and you have to indeed keep it for a very long time under that condition, I mean, cost of power, cost of labor, cost of security, cost of space, cost of layout, etc. All these things are expensive and they can indeed collapse a business. So it is very important that these things are adequately looked at and then infused into the replenishment policy of the firm. So we talk about the capital costs, talk about the ordering costs, the storage costs, and then the risk of cost pilferage or deterioration. All these are risks that has to be adequately managed. And with proper management, all these can be curtailed. There's no point in tying up capital costs. Again, there's also no point in having overstocking because of the implications as far as cost is concerned. And then also, there's no point in, having to rent places to keep some of these inventory. Okay, it depends. I mean, sometimes some calculations can be made to ascertain the usefulness of such an action. But many a time, it does not really work because you may not have been following the data to address some of these challenges. So let's look at inventory replenishment systems. So, it is crucial that we have some inventory for the future. However, we need to strike the balance between the cost of holding the inventory and having inventory to manage customers' expectations. That trade-off is very important. Okay, so of course, excessive inventory will lead to tying up capital, and also you will be able to meet the customer's requirements immediately. Of course, but the low stock will also lead to some problems with regards to customer service and all. So it boils down to what? The trade-off. So these replenishment systems are designed to minimize the effect of stocking and understocking. Okay, so there are two basic systems, which are the periodic and then the fixed point reorder system. Periodic review and the fixed point. So what is the fixed point? It means that within a particular period, some quantity has to be supplied. It is not dependent on what the inventory levels are. It means that when it gets to a particular point, it has to be gold. Okay, and this one are fit for predictable areas where you know that, okay, so this is what this particular arena would procure and all those things. So it's very necessary that that is considered. We also have the periodic review. Okay, we also have the fixed point reorder system. Okay, so there's indeed some continuous reordering that happens. Okay, so for the periodic review, for example, you have a very fixed. Frank and Sylvie, you keep writing on the system. Kindly look at it. Okay, so that you don't cancel out what we are sharing. Okay, so the stock level of the product is determined and examined at regular intervals, depending on quantity in stock. Okay, and so there is a replenishment order that is placed. So with this, it is not fixed. It's typically, it's just that the interval is fixed, but the quantities would vary. Okay, so it depends on how much has been bought or what inventory levels are left. Okay. But for fixed order, specific stock levels are ordered as agreed. And so if every 2 months, a particular quantity has to come, that is what would have to be distributed for the organization. And so as far as the fixed order quantity system is concerned, you need to look at the lead time. You need to consider the quantities that can be available, and also you need to look at the safety stock level, because you should not go below the safety stock level. Else then it means that you potentially can run at a loss, or especially when you get a call from the supplier that this month there's an issue. Okay, we presuppose that you're not keeping very keen eye on the stocks, and that can be telling. Okay, so the fixed order quantity system has to be considered, even though the various quantities may have been discussed already. We have what we call the economic order quantity. Okay, here the two reorder systems, that is the fixed and then the variable, require either fixed or variable quantities of different products to be reordered or to be ordered. The question is how much to reorder. So what if you check your inventory levels? How do you know what or how much to reorder? So the economic order quantity is indeed used to calculate the appropriate order quantity. Okay. So you get the best order quantity for which the ordering and holding costs can be minimized and can make meaning, such that when it is sold, some kind of profit can be made. Again, it balances conflicting costs. So we are looking at the cost of holding the inventory and also the cost of placing So more or less holding and ordering. Okay, the cost of ordering. So there's the formula. You have the EOQ being equal to the square root of 2 by 0 by Q. And O is what? Order cost per cost or cost per order. And then you can have annual quantities and then carrying cost. Okay, carrying cost per unit. That's also very instructive. Okay, so now pick a sheet. Let's see what quantities can be seen. So the order cost is 20 Ghana cedis. Order cost is 20 Ghana cedis. Quantity, annual quantity required is 2,000 pieces. And the carrying cost is 20 Ghana cedis. Calculate the EOQ. So you have 20, 2,000, and then 20. Calculate the EOQ. Rosemary Awuzi. Rosemary.
Doc.
You had a question. Calculate the economic order quantity, okay?
Sir, please, the figures again.
22,020. Rosita, what did you get?
Sir, please, I'm Annette.
Doc.
Hold on. Eliza, what did you get?
Sir, please, I'm not done.
Okay. Okay. Asantua, are you done?
Doc, please, I had 4,000.
I'm asking if you are done.
Oh, yes, please, sorry.
That's on.
He had 4,000.
Yes, please.
4,000 what?
4,000 EOQ.
EOQ.
Well, what is EOQ? What figure are you giving EOQ?
Economic order quantity.
So if you say 2,000 what?
Pieces.
Okay. Yes, Jude, what did you get?
Doc, the answer is 63.24 pieces.
Hey.
63 pieces. Okay.
Get a square root. So
Richard, what did you get?
Okay.
Doc, I got 4,000.
Basic mathematics. It's missing. Amina, what did you get? Haruna.
Wow.
Hey, please, I'm still on it.
Charles, what did you get? Okay, Charles is not in class. Okay, Mandy.
Dog, I'm here. I was talking. My mic was muted. I had 63.25.
Exactly.
Seth, what did you get?
I got 7.95 bags.
Okay. Percy, you just joined. Percy, are you part of this class?
Yes, sir, I'm part. I was caught up in something. That's why I'm joining this.
If all of us are caught up in something, would we have a class?
No, sir, please.
Okay. So you have noted your name.
Oh, I joined though, but then I had to.
Sarah, are you done?
Sir, I got 63 pieces.
Point what?
25.
63.25.
Are you sure you got 0.25 or you got only 63?
Sir, it's 63.25.
Okay. Daniel Connie, what did you get?
Dog, 14.14.
I suspected that you have a different figure. Okay. I think finally let's hear from Ejaku.
Doc, 63.245. When I round it up, 63.25.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so show us the working.
Okay, so with the calculation, the O was 20, the K was 2,000, and then the C was 20. So that is 2 times 20 times 2,000 all over 20. That will give all over 20 will give you the 4,000. Then the square root of the 4,000 will give you 63.245. So when I round it
Hey.
up, 63.
Some of us failed already.
Oh, it's about why.
I have not said anything, please.
Sorry. Please, am I okay?
Even Tete.
Yes, sir.
Are you the one talking?
No, please.
Okay. Okay, so at least we now know what it is that we are talking about. So that is economic order coin, and that's how to calculate it, okay?
Yes, sir. I believe please, I want to ask if it should always be in units since we are talking about quantity.
No, so if you are talking about quantity, why you want to use CDs? You want to try CDs?
No, sir, because my colleagues were mentioning the answer without units. That's why I was trying to draw our attention.
But you realize that initially I drew the attention. I drew someone's attention that you have to say pieces. So yeah, so that means that they are countable, not as if you're talking about kilowatts. All right. Okay, thank you for bringing that up. So the economic order quantity level for each product depends on some factors. Of course, if you have promotional items, you're using them for promotion. You don't expect a lot, and therefore that has to be considered. Again, if you are looking at seasonality, it means that it is something that is not consistent. It depends on the weather or the season, etc., etc. So these are all factors that would indeed influence what we are talking about. Okay. So stock levels must always be fixed with the aim to ensure business continuity. That's indeed great, but you need to find the optimal stock levels, which is very, very important. That has to be realized. Okay, and so you know the maximum, the minimum, and then the reorder levels. Okay, and so as you study the market, you will definitely get to know. But it's always important that you are proactive. You don't wait till things get out of hand. So past experience or history of the item can also ensure that your reorder levels are quite clear. And any known factors that may lessen or increase demand in the coming days may also be looked at. In terms of reorder levels, the stock of ordering some of these, or the level of stock of materials at which a new order may be placed has to be clearly detailed so as to avoid understocking or overstocking. Yeah. So that is indeed very, very important. But if you want to look at the reorder quantity, you look at the maximum stock minus reorder level minus minimum usage and minimum lead time. So it is very important that organizations can look at it from this point of view. Because there is maximum level and then there's minimum level. And all of that will have to be shaped as we get along in order to be able to find the proper replenishment time for some particular products. So there are some classifications of stock. I've mentioned some of these and explained some of these, but I believe that ones that are not, some of these terms that are not familiar, can talk about the speculative tech stocks. Okay, so they are held for several reasons. Okay, so it could include seasonal demand, project price increases, the potential shortage of a product. All this becomes necessary for us, to consider. Any questions so far? So you have pipeline stock, you have speculative stock, you have cycle stock. Okay. You have what? Cycle stock, you have safety. Okay. So indeed, it is prudent that these kinds of stocks are understood so that you know how to train, how to maintain these very nice products. Yeah, so as far as the things that I'm looking at, look at carrying costs. Carrying cost is also critical here. Yes, Tony.
Doc, please, I put a question on our chat box, but I would like us to, if you could finish your submission, then you address this question for me. Okay? When we were tweeting about the trade-off, I asked, how can we measure if a trade-off is worth it? So if you can discuss it after your submission here.
Okay. Well, let's address it. I mean, how, so that we can move on. How do you measure trade-off? How can you know whether a trade-off is even important? Oh, you have to do calculations. You need to know. You need to know. Okay, then what are you trading off for? You need to know that, okay, I'm supposed to make sure that I order goods from Ketekrachi to Accra at this cost. Okay, but trade-off is that we need to look at that, just oppose it with the cost of warehousing at where I'm living. If the cost of warehousing is so high, such that when you bring the goods to Accra and you send them to the various customers, you're going to lose about 20% or 30%. Then what is the point of bringing them all the way from Ketekrachi and then storing and then making sure that they are sold before one leaves? Does that ring a bell? Does that make any meaning? Or does anybody want to add any? Tony, does it answer your question or?
Yeah, Doc, somehow, because perhaps
yeah.
it may sound as if it's just a theory.
Okay, so you're saying it sounds like, no, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, calculating how much it will cost you for carrying goods from Katakrachi to your warehouse in Accra. Can't you compute that? And then you say, okay, I have some special people I want to serve. Okay, you have special people you want to serve. You want to enhance customer service. Okay, that's fine. So you are trading off what for what? And I'm saying that your cost of managing the warehouse, let's say, for example, your warehouse is full. And so you need to engage your third party's warehouse. You go there, the price of keeping your goods there is twice bringing it from Katakrachi to that particular warehouse. Will you undertake that venture based on the cost you have calculated? Will you undertake that venture? Yes, Tony.
No, Doc, I'm following.
You're following. So let's talk. Will you follow it? Will you go by that venture? Or you think that the calculation still, we will get the calculation wrong? You're anticipating that the calculation will be wrong. We can't calculate. Is that what you are saying? That we can't calculate?
Doc, based on the individual, I think it can be. But sometimes I think it can be.
It can be calculated.
Yes.
If it can be calculated, what is our problem? Are you with me? If it can be calculated, then there's nothing wrong.
Please, I get you now.
Exactly. So we can easily calculate and know whether we're going to make losses or make gains. Sometimes you may want to even make loss but keep the customers excited. That's fine. Big organizations can easily shoulder some of these risks. Okay. So carrying costs, which includes the cost of the capital or the opportunity cost, storage and warehousing, taxes, insurance, obsolescence, material handling, etc. All these are costs associated with carrying the product. But if you want to order, you ask for the product, whether the product is available. Okay, you place orders for them, and then you meet or receive these orders. Okay, which is very important. Again, you can also talk about the stock out cost. There's lots of sales, lots of customer loyalty. Okay, and so that one also has to be adequately considered. Yeah, so any questions on this? Any question on inventory management? The inventory that we have? Any questions here? I must also add that there are various inventory systems. We'll look at it as we go along. Someone mentioned JIT. What is that? We can peruse that. JIT, what is that? You can talk about an ABC inventory management system. Okay. That can also be considered. All right. And things like that. Any questions on inventory? Any questions on inventory? Okay, so if there are no questions for inventory, then I may have to ask questions then. Now, the EOQ level for each product is dependent on some of these factors. Why is indeed range reviews important in this ways? Range reviews or product review? Yes, anyone? Hello? Yes, product review or range review?
Doc, kindly ask the question again, please.
The question again, please.
Well, I'm saying that EOQ is important to a firm, and I'm saying that for EOQ, of the EOQ for each product is dependent on factors including these. And I'm saying that the range reviews that we see here, the range reviews that we see, what is its significance as far as EOQ level is concerned?
Hello, Doc.
Yes.
Yeah, please let me try. So, demand and supply doesn't move in a straight line. It varies. So, at every point in time, it has to be reviewed to be able to get the right economic order quantity.
Okay. Okay, that's a good try. Yes, any other?
Yeah, hello, Doc.
Yes.
Yeah, please, I would like to give a try.
Yes, please.
For instance, for the range review that we are talking about, for instance, the economic order quantity we had 63.25. So let's say you are ordering for an amount of a quantity, then you might say, for instance, if you order 63 units, it might cost you, for instance, $1,000. Or if you order 60 units, it will cost you 1,005. So when you look at the margins between the costs, you see that they are very minimal. So you can say that, okay, instead of you ordering this 63 units, why don't I make it, let's say, 70 units? So that's my understanding of it.
Oh, okay. I see. All right. Saba, what do you have to say?
Okay, sir. It's also help you to identify trends in your workplace.
Okay. What would the trends do?
So it helps you to know whether there is an increase in demand, or whether you're getting positive reviews or you're getting negative reviews for you to adjust.
Okay, very well. Okay. Yes, Rosita. Okay.
Okay, Doc. So it's it helps you know how your product is moving. If like she spoke about the demand, if it's moving slowly, if you'll need to if it's moving fast, if you'll need to order more. So yes, trends. It helps you know how your product is moving and it's being received by your customers.
Awesome. Yes, Ejakun.
Doc, please, it can also help to reduce stockouts in the sense that when you review and you get to know that this particular product is being demanded and moves faster, you know when to reorder and when to maybe place your orders, or when if sales go up and maybe let's say you produce a particular quantity and now the estimated time that you anticipated that to go, it moves faster beyond that time. And we quickly informs you that, oh, after this review, I probably have to start another process. I don't have to say, though I had it maybe till middle of the year. Now the product went earlier before the middle of the year. So let me put in again so that at least I can always have stock to give to my customers.
Okay. I think that's also fine. That was Amina, do you have your hand up or it's fine?
Yeah, I think it's also it also help you to know when to run promotions and then discounts.
So in terms of the range review, you know when to run promo and discounts and
Yes.
things like. Okay, that's great. Is your hand up or down, or is the old one? Gabriela, is it Gabriela?
Doc,
Yes.
please, I wanted to suggest if we say it help a business monitor inventory levels and decide when and how much to order for. Like checking inventory at specific intervals or within a specific range to decide whether new stock should be ordered or not. And then for this, it will avoid a shortage or stock out.
I think that is indeed what we have also alluded to. And that is indeed fine. So that you know exactly what you're talking about, right? You know exactly the outstanding orders and things like that. Yeah. So the point is that what I'm indeed saying that these factors are important is that when you talk about promotional items, okay, you need to assess and more or less if there are some readjustments you make before you can adequately indicate that this is the quantities or this is the level that this product should reach before I reorder. So promotional items, I mean, if you are promoting an item, it means that you've not really found out the economic order quantity yet. Because the product is under promotion. You need to at least promote it to some period, then you can indeed have a very stable period which you can then lay your hands and become emphatic about the economic order quantity. Do you agree? Do you agree? Or you don't?
Yes, sir,
Doc,
we agree.
Doc, please come again with the explanation.
Who said he agrees? Tete, is that you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, that's me.
Yeah, so tell us, what did you hear?
So, for instance, working under Unilever for some time, there are a lot of time that they bring certain new products onto the market. And because they do those things, sometimes the product have to take some time before we know how much quantity we will be ordering or how many quantity we'll be ordering each and every time. And also when there are promotional items, like you said, when the item is new and we are running promotions on, you might not know the quantities that will move the market. So based on that, you have to wait for some time and look at it before you can determine which quantities the customers will be moved for buying based on the promos that you are running. So that's why I said that is right. Thank you.
Exactly. That's a good explanation. Yeah, did you catch that?
Yes, please.
Okay. So in terms of new product lines, for example, does that also make any difference in terms of looking at the EOQ? Do you get my point?
Yes, sir.
New product lines. So it's just like we are talking about the promotional items.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Anonymous, yeah. Do you get it? Jude, do you get it?
Yes, I was about saying the same thing. I was about to say that promotional items and new product lines, there is a link. Because whenever you introduce a new product, obviously you're supposed to promote it.
Okay. All right. That's fine. That's fine. And that is also not too different from, test marketing, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what's the significance of test marketing?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, to see whether the product will be purchased.
Yeah. So at that point, you don't have any business with EOQ, right?
Yeah.
All right, Jude.
Yes, sir. Same. From what my sister just said, I think it is right. And in this case too, you need not to produce much because you are now going to test the market.
Exactly.
So you need not to produce much.
Exactly. Okay. That's awesome. So any final questions, any final thoughts? Any final questions? Yes, please go
So I
ahead.
must say that some companies sometimes even when they are looking at market testing, they use the standard for their already existing product to do to consider EOQ, and as a result, that is how sometimes you see a lot of slow moving or sticky products in various warehouses or shelf of various companies. So like you said earlier, I want to add that EOQ, but in doing these three things, you have to be very careful when we are trying to set a certain limit or the quantity for. We shouldn't use the already existing ones that we are using for our various products that are already there when a new product or a new a market testing is being done. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much. Any other? Any other thoughts? All right, so if there's none, then I want to use this time to express my sincere gratitude to you for, being very active on the call and sharing your experiences with the class. Thank you so much, and I appreciate the class so much. So we'll draw the curtain on this for now, and then we'll see what happens next week. So I wish you the very best and have a wonderful evening. So take care and bye.
Have a wonderful evening too.
A wonderful evening.
I'm good.
Yeah, Jude, that's fine. Yeah, thank you, Adobia. Well done. Thank you. Tony, keep in touch. Call me when you're done, okay?
All right. Thank you very much, Doc, for your time being spent with us. God richly bless you.
Thank you too.
Bless you, Doc. Bless you.
Yeah, thank you. Percy, are you in class? So you just joined and you left. Okay.
Oh no, I'm here. So I'm here. Sir,
This
it's not
year.
unfortunate that. Hello.
Yes.
Sir, it's not unfortunate. When you called me, I was in the mortuary. My uncle just passed away. So I was just going
Oh,
up and
sorry.
down. That's why I wasn't able to join the class. I'm sorry. Yes.
Sorry. Sympathy.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Mm.
Sorry about. To invite
I'm
me
so
to
sorry I wasn't able to. I'm so sorry I wasn't able to join the class.
I'm saying invite me to the funeral. You're laughing.
I will.